Describe Governor Cuomo's education reforms in one word.
Disturbing.
It's ugly.
Lousy.
Ineffective because it is not a valid way of evaluating teachers or students. It's extremely unfair to them.
The first reform is teacher evaluations. The new teacher evaluation system will be based on two components: student performance on state exams and observations. For the first component, there are three main state exams that will be used. For elementary school teachers, the ELA and math state assessments will be used. For high school teachers, Regents exams will be used. However, educators will not be evaluated based on their students' absolute score. Instead, the state will generate growth scores, which will measure how much students improve from one year to the next. For example, a Regents chemistry student who received a 97 on their Regents biology exam during the previous year takes the Regents chemistry exam and receives a 91. Because there is a 6-point decrease from one Regents to the next, that student's chemistry teacher is now automatically rated ineffective. But wait a second, how can a Regents chemistry teacher be evaluated based on how their student did in biology? They are two totally different sciences. Furthermore, the growth scores of students who live in poverty, have disabilities, or speak English as a second language will not be weighted in a teacher's evaluation. This new system groups all students into one stereotypical category.
Being a mother of 6, 4 have been special needs children. I know that the special ed teachers work really hard with them. I have one that I'm in constant contact with this year, and she is working super hard with this child, even though the child is failing, sadly. We kind of feel it's through the child's decision. She just doesn't want to work. It's not that she can't do the work, she just doesn't want to. And I don't think this should reflect that particular teacher because she's gone the extra mile for this child this year. And I've had that with many other special ed teachers with working through the children. Their students aren't as bright as mainstream students, so they work super hard.
For the observation component of the evaluation, there will be two required observations. One will be performed by a principal or administrator, and the other will be performed by an independent evaluator. This independent evaluator can be a third-party college professor, retired teacher, or a principal, an administrator, or another highly effective teacher from another school district. Using this matrix, the growth scores and observation ratings will be blended to produce the final evaluation score. However, this matrix sets up teachers to fail. If a teacher earns an ineffective rating based on student test scores, they are only able to earn an overall rating of developing or ineffective, regardless of their observations. Likewise, if a teacher earns an ineffective rating based on their observations, they may not earn an effective or highly effective rating regardless of their students' test scores. In addition, lesson plans, student portfolios, and student or parent feedback surveys may no longer be considered in a teacher's evaluation.
I don't believe that if you are ineffective for the student test scores, that your whole evaluation, your whole rating for that year should be ineffective. There are so many things that go into teaching, so many different components that really need to be considered.
Every student's different, every learning ability is different. Some can do some things and others can't. So it isn't something that should knock down a teacher's ability that is working very hard.
Governor Cuomo's second education reform is teacher discipline. Teachers or principals who earn 2 consecutive ineffective ratings are in danger of losing their job. They may be brought up on charges of incompetence by their school boards and would have to provide clear and convincing evidence in order to avoid being fired. Educators who earn 3 consecutive ineffective ratings must be brought up on charges of incompetence and may only argue fraud as their defense. The third education reform is teacher tenure. Tenure is a form of job security for teachers. Having tenure means that an educator may not be disciplined or fired without due process. Before teachers or principals are offered tenure, they will serve a probationary period of 4 years instead of the current 3 years, and they must earn effective or highly effective ratings for 3 of the 4 years. Also, educators may be fired at any time during their probationary periods. The fourth reform is teacher certification. Teachers and administrators with lifetime certification are no longer lifetime certified. They must register with the state and complete 100 hours of continuing education or professional development every 5 years. Otherwise, they will not be able to maintain certification. So why is Governor Cuomo doing all of this to teachers?
100% of the schools adopted a teacher evaluation system. That's the good news. We have teacher evaluation systems for every school in the system. The bad news is they are baloney. Now, 38% of high school students are college ready. 38%. 98.7% of high school teachers are rated effective. How can that be? How can 38% of the students be ready, but 98% of the teachers effective?
I have the answer to that question. Allow me to explain. So you may be wondering, how can a student's college readiness be calculated into a statistic? The College Board was asked to correlate SAT scores with college grades to create probabilities of college success. This data was then used to create the cut scores that designate a 3rd through 8th grader's exam score onto a 4-point scale. A score of 3 or higher is considered passing and college ready. So you may be asking yourself, why are only 38.1% of students considered college ready? That seems kinda low. Well, it is low because the thinking behind the SAT and college readiness correlation is completely flawed. Research has shown that the SAT's predictive power is only 22%. High school grades and GPA have been proven to be a far more accurate predictor of college success. Also, the rigor and passing standards on these tests are set so high that it ensures student failure. The content on the exams are often above the grade level for which the exam was made. The following is Governor Cuomo's answer to the low passing rates.
Who are we kidding, my friends? The problem is clear and the solution is clear. We need real, accurate, fair teacher evaluations.
Wait, that doesn't even make sense. Teachers are certainly not to blame for the low passing rates. The unrealistic high standards of these exams and the inaccurate benchmarks of passing grades are the legitimate causes of the decreased passing rates. To prove this point even further, in 2009, the passing rate on the math state assessment in New York City was 81.8%. In 2013, when Common Core was adopted, the passing rate decreased to 29.6%. The problem is obviously not the teachers. The problem is the implementation of the Common Core tests. Teachers are simply the scapegoats. Furthermore, the inaccurate student test score data will cause an invalidation of the new teacher evaluations. As a result, truly effective teachers will now be rated ineffective. Therefore, these new and so-called improved teacher evaluations are actually not fair and not accurate like Cuomo claims they are. They are actually a very inaccurate and unfair reflection of teachers. Both students and teachers are set up to fail. Dare I say corruption? So how is the public reacting to all of these so-called education reforms? The Wear Red to Support Public Ed campaign has become very popular across New York State. On certain days, parents, teachers, and students are asked to wear red and participate in rallies to create awareness, advocate for teachers, and show a united front against Cuomo's education reforms.
Cuomo, he paces the Albany floor, plotting revenge on the teachers. He's mad they didn't endorse, and now we'll settle the score, determined to punish the leeches. And so he's selling out your children like an egomaniac. You ought to know by now. Excluding most teachers from creating the tests. Is that what he bought with our money? And the tests are a waste of time, with results that are filled with doubt. Andrew, if that's how to teach, then I'm opting out. I'm opting out. Oh.
The opt-out movement is a protest against Common Core in which parents allow their children to refuse taking the English and Math Common Core aligned, high-stakes standardized tests. In 2014, about 60,000 students opted out of the exams in New York State. However, in 2015, this number increased dramatically. Over 200,000 New York State students opted out of the exams.
I'm opting out. Oh. I'm opting out. I'm opting out.
Beautiful, nice, caring, lovely.
Yes. Because I feel obligated to do well, and I don't want to disappoint them.
Yes, because I don't want my teachers to get fired because of me. Definitely not.
No, because they're basically being treated as if they were criminals, and they're good people. They don't deserve this.
Governor Cuomo, come into my ICT classroom and see how I juggle students' diverse needs.
We teach our children not to judge a book by its cover, so why are you judging teachers based on children's test scores?
If you want to correct issues in education, then abandon the Common Core. Don't abandon teachers.
Let's not forget Governor Cuomo. I'm the teacher I am today because of the teacher I had in my past. And you're the leader you are today because of the special teacher you had in your past.
Governor Cuomo, the average probationary period for city jobs is 6 months to 3 years. So why are you increasing the probationary period for educators?
Okay, we need a governor that treats teachers as the solution and not the problem.
Governor Cuomo, instead of increasing your probationary time period for teachers, why don't you increase your visits to public schools?
Governor Cuomo, as teachers, we work hard day and night, and you are just making us feel underappreciated.
Did you know teaching is the third most stressful job in the country, and now you're making it the most high risk?
Come see what it's like to teach over 90 students with different learning styles and needs.
Governor Cuomo, we teach our students to back up their opinions with evidence. I don't know what evidence you have that teachers are doing such a poor job that you need to take these drastic measures. But the last time I checked, our approval ratings were much better than yours.
As a veteran teacher about to retire, I have to say I really sympathize with the upcoming teachers and older folks who've been in the system for a bit, in that things have changed quite a bit and not in a very good way. It seems like it's very discouraging coming to work every day, as opposed to what it used to be like when everyone sort of loved coming here to work.
As a New York City paraprofessional, I see what all these teachers do. They care. Now, do you care, Governor Cuomo?